Hi, my name is Danielle D. Smith. I love what I do.
I'm an award-winning author and filmmaker, writing coach, instructor, founder of the movement Don't Be Quiet, as well as an advocate.
She's got the answers.
I understand. You are not alone.
Grab your pen and paper, because we're about to drop some gems. It's Amazing with Danielle D. Smith.
Hello, and welcome to Amazing with Danielle D. Smith. I am super excited today. Why? I'm so glad you asked, because I have the Anthony Hendrix on with me today. He is an award-winning author and a lyricist, y'all. Listen, I've been following him for a long time, and I'm super duper honored and excited that he decided to come on today. We're going to share some things. We're going to get down in it, y'all. I love the man versus woman thing, right? I always try to have the male and the women perspective. And whether it's me being the woman as the perspective or having another guest, but I love it because, yes, you know, the book came out, men versus, you know, Venus, and women are from Mars, you know, and all that kind of, well, we are, okay? We are. Let's just put it out there. We are from two different planets. Our brains think differently. And I love that. That's the amazing part of human beings, right? So we are going to talk today about what? Relationships. Ooh, scary subject to some, but guess what? Not to us. We ready to go in and rock this. But the main thing that I really want you to know is we are here to help. Okay? So we are giving the man and the woman perspective because I want you to see how we as women, sometimes we try to think for men, right? Oh, listen, all day long I can talk about that. We cannot think for our men, okay? We have a different brain. We think differently. We're more emotional. They're more tactical. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's why when the two come together, it is amazing. All right? So we are going to get in it. We are going to talk about relationships. And mainly what we're really going to hit on is like after divorce. Okay? So we both are divorced and not from each other, guys. Okay? Like, different people, right? But anywho, so we're going to talk about dating after divorce. You ready, Anthony?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Oh, we're about to help some people. I'm excited. I'm excited about this because I love helping people, right? And so a lot of people, you know, divorce is like taboo. You're not supposed to talk about it. You're not supposed to, you know, even though we're not the first ones to get divorced, right? Definitely.
Super fast.
Right? And so it's like, you know, what if we had somebody to kind of help us so we didn't get that way? You know, and I'm not saying you didn't have anyone. Okay, I'll speak for myself. I definitely didn't have anybody be like, yo, you're going down the wrong path. Yo, maybe you shouldn't have done that. You know, and so, you know, my hopes out of this is that someone will listen to what we said and just take heed. All right.
For sure.
And also, if you are divorced, that you'll be able to deal with it a little bit better. Not that I'm an expert, but I'm an expert in my life. All right. Now that I can tell you, I definitely am an expert in my life. Okay. So let's go on into it. So women, we as women feel that men take a long time to come back and bounce back after a relationship. Listen,
okay,
you guys break up with Melissa, and you hold on to it, and now me, Danielle, I can't get through to your heart because Melissa jacked you up. And it'll be like 2, 20, 50 years before you guys release Melissa. Why is that? Please talk to me, Anthony, please.
Nah, that's a fair assessment though, right? Like I get it, and I've heard that time and time again. Hope, of course, I can't speak for every man, but I can speak for me. And I can speak for, you know, the guys that are like me. But I think what it is that women don't understand is that I think it's agreed, it's a wide held belief that this is like a patriarchy, right? This is most societies are. And so men are groomed from an early age that this is how you have to be if you want to achieve success in this world. And part of that grooming is saying that, you know, you have to put your emotions aside. You have to put those things on the back burner. You have to be stern. You have to be tough. You can't cry. It's like, it's almost dehumanizing men from birth to a degree, saying that, you know, you can't have any feelings. So when we get older and we start to embrace a little bit of our feelings, and we, you know, we find a woman that we like, and we're like, we've never felt this way before. And so we start challenging our own belief systems for her, right? Start doing things that we've never done. Like we're being vulnerable, we're being emotional, and different things like that. And so when our heart gets broke, we think, I did all of that, and where did it get me? And most men, most of us at that moment, at that first heartbreak, or, you know, whichever one was the most devastating for the man, at that moment, we pretty much retreat inward and we decide, oh, never again. I'm never doing that again. I don't want to feel that again. You know what I'm saying? And it catches us off guard because we never expected that in the first place. So we went against everything we were taught and groomed to be, to take a risk. And it seems like when that risk didn't pan out for us, and we may have even gotten crushed, you know, in the midst of that, because divorce and breakups can be ugly depending on the maturity of the person. So hopefully that helps and gives some sort of insight and perspective as to why it may take us a little bit to get over it.
You know what it does? You know, those that know me know I'm always for the man, meaning I never male bash. I will never, ever do that. And I definitely am not going to bash my Black kings. Ever. Like, I'm never. And so I get that because I feel and I teach how we have to give our men, but let's go back a little bit further. We have to give our boys, our young boys, a chance to show emotions. Why? God gave us emotions. Absolutely. So he didn't put emotions out there and say these emotions are for men and these emotions are for women. No, they're emotions. They didn't, you know, show in the Bible, oh, well, this emotional woman was, you know, feeling sad or whatever. No. And so I feel like I definitely understand what you're saying, and it makes sense. Yeah. And it breaks my heart that so many boys are taught, you know, toughen up. Well, what's tough?
Yeah.
Not tough because I'm showing emotion, because I'm releasing by crying.
Right.
Crying is a release, right? So it's like, you're telling me to, well, man. But then when I get grown and I maybe go to counseling or something, they tell me to cry. It's like, wait a minute, I can't, you know? So I definitely understand that. That's so crazy because I was the same way. I didn't let men in, and I never wanted to be married, and it was all these things. And I mean, I guess I was kind of like the guy, like, I hate to say that. When I hear what you're saying, I'm like, man, I felt the same way. And I thank God that I'm not bitter after going through a divorce. And I'm like, listen, I'm dating, and I have no problem with it. I want somebody to, you know, come into my heart again and everything. And I think what did it for me was knowing that I deserve love. Yeah. And then also that it wasn't my fault. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying I was perfect, but I'm saying, like, I know I fought for my marriage, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that was on you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's important.
Yeah.
That's super important, because I think there's a liberty that comes with you, with the knowing that you've done everything you could to make a situation work. Yeah. And, you know, some people say they did everything they could, but, you know, when you know in your core, in your soul, like, I left it all on the field. Like, so if there was a chance for the relationship to work, I made sure that I left that door open, and I contributed to the success of that relationship. And it fell apart, and that wasn't on me. There's a freedom that comes with that. So I think that helps moving on as well.
Yeah, definitely for me it did. For me it did. I'm hoping for someone else it will as well. So Anthony, let's back up a little bit. Let's just tell a
Okay.
little bit about ourselves and say, how long were you married and how long have you been divorced now? And just if you want to tell a little bit about what got you to being divorced.
Okay. Okay. Well, I got married like really young. That, well, some people would say, I think it was, about average age for that time, but I got married when a couple weeks before my 25th birthday. And, or just after, I'm sorry, a couple weeks after my 25th birthday. And at that time, I was very, I guess the term would be religious, um, because it wasn't, I thought, I was very spiritual and I was being groomed. So I got the majority of my philosophy on life, on marriage, on faith, on being a husband, on what a wife should be from the church or from, the particular church that I went to at the time.
Wow.
And, we were groomed a certain way, which life would work great if the real world operated like that particular church operated, right?
Right.
But it didn't, and it doesn't. And so, we went through what natural marriages would go through, right? Like the newlywed stage, the honeymoon phase, only for me. And I want to be really careful with this because I don't want to come across like I was perfect or anything like that. But for me, about 90 days in, about 3 months into our marriage, I was gaslit for the first time. And for those that aren't familiar with that term, gaslighting, basically that's when a person uses reality against you and tries to get you to question your sanity, as though so something happens, you bring it up or recall it, and it's like, what? That never happened. And so you start looking at yourself like, wait a minute, I know what I felt, I know what I heard, I know what happened. Okay, maybe I'm tripping. And you start second guessing yourself, but it's really mental abuse. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
So anyway, long story short, issues and circumstances like that started happening. My marriage was very unconventional, where a lot of things that married folks do as far as building intimacy or should do, and growing closer in friendship over the years, like kind of sticking it out, not really looking to blame one another, but trying to find a way through difficulties and arguments, and figure out that they're on the same team. You have a conflict, but how can we resolve the conflict instead of how can we harm one another and be right?
Listen. That's a message right there.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. That's a message right there. Listen, we about to be talking. That's another topic.
Yeah, it is. But there was a lot of that in my marriage. And so after about 13 years, and then there was, I had gotten to a place where I had come across, an event. Like, so I got thrown into a crisis. I don't want to, what is that? Excuse me. Okay. So I got thrown into a crisis, and what that crisis was my wife at the time had received a phone call, and I was, it was kind of an awkwardly long, phone call, and I was told it was one thing. It was completely different though, and I found out the hard way, about that. So I'm not giving details, not really trying to throw anybody under the bus, but there was some other stuff going on, and it came out. And so when I found out about that, I was devastated, and trying to work through that, it had gotten to a point where it was like, well, look, this is me, love it or leave it. And, so inevitably I took the leave it option, it wasn't easy. It was difficult because I had, 2 children, and I have 2 children, and, I've been with them every day of my life. And so, but I just decided, and I'm of course leaving out so much, but ultimately I decided that I didn't want my children to look at the marriage that I had and determined that this is what marriage is and should be.
Wow.
And so I had to make a decision.
Wow. Now listen, I'm going to be all the way honest. Now that's the first time I've heard you say that, okay?
Yeah.
So I applaud you again for that decision. You know, I've always been the type, you know, I hate that I've been a single parent. My daughter's father left. I was 5 months pregnant, and I broke up with him. Flat out. I broke up with him, and he was like, "Well, you know what? If you don't want to be with me, I won't be with her." And I was like, wow. And I never saw that coming. You know, those that knew us and knew him was very shocked that he said that. And he definitely stuck with his word, because he definitely has not been here.
Wow.
But I had to make a decision. Did I want, and I mean, and we weren't married, but it was a decision. Do I stay with him because I'm pregnant and I want my child to have her father around, and us to, and before that we were great. Everything was amazing. But I made a decision for my happiness. And I've always said, I believe that your children will not be happy. You know, you stand together. Oh, you know, I want the mom and the dad situation.
Yeah.
You know, but your children can pick up on the energy in the home.
Yeah.
You know, and my daughter and I are very close. When I am sad, that little girl knows.
Yeah.
And she's 17 now, but still at that time, I'm like, she knew. She would pick up on it. She'd come, you know, we were always loving and hugging everything, but she'd be on me even more.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm glad about the decision, but it makes me sad at the same time that her father's not around. But anyways, I applaud you, you know, for making that decision, because it's not easy, because you do look at your children, you look in their faces, and they're so innocent, and it's not their fault. And, you know, they could feel that way. And especially because your children were at an age, you know?
Yeah.
And so they knew, you know, my daughter had never seen it, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And so I applaud you, because I know that that's not an easy decision, especially as a man. You know, and I can't say it enough. Like, I seriously applaud you for making that decision, you know? So that kind of leads me to one thing that happened with me is when I separated. So with me, I was married 3 years. When I separated, I knew this is it. You know, when he moved out of the home, I said, hey, you got 2 weeks to move out. And he moved out, and it was done for me. That was the divorce for me. That was done. Like, okay, we're divorced. You moved out. Yeah. There's no back and forth for me. So I started going through something I had never been through before. And, you know, those that know my story, I've dealt with abuse, child abuse, and everything. So all the emotions are cupped into that, right? Dealing with abuse. Well, going through divorce, I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
And when we separated, like I said, in my brain said, we're divorced. We're done. And I started going through all of these roller coasters of emotions. And I had a talk with a friend of mine who is a therapist. And we were just talking. I wasn't going to her for a session. I literally was talking to her as a friend.
Okay.
And matter of fact, we were talking about my film that was coming out. And she says, how are you doing? Because she knew I was separated. And I said, I'm good, you know. I'm good. We working, girl. What's up? You know? And she says, no, how are you doing?
No.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I can tell you. Yeah, girl, I'm kind of tripping. Really don't know what's going on the inside.
Yeah.
Feeling things I never felt before. And she said, you're grieving. I said, no, I'm divorced. He didn't die. I'm not a widow. We're divorced. And she said, no, you're grieving. She said, look it up. She knows that I will look up things and research, and, you know, because when it's something that has to do with me, I want to research it. I want to be an expert at what's going on with me.
Oh, yeah.
And I started researching, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is grieving.
Yeah.
I lost something. What did I lose? I lost my marriage. I lost the person that I said I'd do forever with.
Yeah.
And now that forever is gone.
Yep.
And so for you, what was that like?
Well, I was married for 13 years. So 13 and a half years at the point when I had decided that, you know what? See, for me, I grieved in stages. Like I did a lot of the grieving during the relationship, or at least so I thought. But turns out I was in denial. But I think that's one of the stages, of grief. So at the time when the separation first hit, I didn't know that I was going to get divorced. I had just made the decision that to trust what I was feeling, to trust the information that I had, and to trust people's actions. Like that became real to me. I'd always heard the cliche, listen to their actions, like not their words.
Right.
Listen to their words, but pay attention to what they do. That's the truest indicator of where a person is with you.
Right.
And so I moved out thinking, well, I'll move out just to see if I'm seeing things correctly. I want to be humble. Maybe I'm wrong about what I believe about you and how you're treating me. So I'll humble myself, and I'm not going to just go straight for the divorce route. I need to separate for a while. So I'm just going to move right down the street. That way the kids don't feel anything crazy. I'm right here. But I need some distance between you and I, because I need to know if I'm seeing this correctly. I need to know if what I feel is right. Do you love me? I don't feel like you love me, but you're saying you do. So maybe I need some distance so that all of the, kind of the requirements of marriage and the day-to-day routine, I can just get some distance from that and maybe see things in a different light, or have it confirmed that, no, what I'm feeling is correct. I'm seeing this right.
Wow.
So I moved out, and then, after about 6 months, it became abundantly, clear, because, I told her when I moved out, like, listen, because I don't know if I'm right. If you take one step toward me, I'll take two towards you. I just need to see something.
Wow.
And so, that didn't happen. And then 6 months after, into my separation, she filed for divorce.
Wow.
And so in that time, I was just feeling crazy because, I kind of have this public persona as a minister, or, a rapper and this believer who's strong in his faith or whatever. But I've never been down this road before.
Right.
So I'm trying to put on a face in public, but I don't feel well. I'm smiling, but I'm crushed because I'm not waking up and seeing my kids every day like I'm used to. And I just didn't know, like when you said you were grieving the loss of your marriage, another thing that I didn't know, I would feel sad, but I thought, like, man, I'm tripping. Like, it is what it is, Dude, if somebody doesn't want you, you got to just, suck it up. I'm trying to go back to my programming.
Right.
But I would have moments where I just want to be alone, and I didn't know that I was grieving. I don't want to go out. I don't want to, my friends like, yo, you want to do that? Nah, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to do any of the things that previously brought me joy.
Right.
And it took me a while to figure out that I was grieving. I would break down and cry. I'm by myself and I'm crying. And what I realized is that not only do you lose the marriage, you lose your sense of normalcy, but you're grieving your dreams. You're grieving what the life you thought you were going to have, that has been snatched away from you. That has been shattered. Your plan for your life up to that point is no more. And I grieved that really hard, and it took me a while. It took me a while.
Wow.
And I think that's, part that I still carry with me. I'm over the relationship as far as that goes. But, I'm well aware that at one time I saw my life going one way, and it didn't turn out that way at all.
I definitely understand that. And I say that even knowing that I wasn't married as long as you were, but I took more than I should have. And, for me, wow, I'm listening to you and I'm like, wow, you never, you're exactly right. You don't think, no one thinks about divorce when they're saying I do.
Right.
And so, I always say, I said I do forever. Now I do for a little while,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
You
and
meant
if
your vow when you said it.
I meant every vow that I said,
Yeah.
every single last one of them. And so through my grieving process, I began to think about those vows,
Yeah.
and it was like, wow, well, you didn't do that. You did, but it wasn't a blame thing. It was just me realizing, like you said, that you don't love me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
really realizing that. Now, when I started thinking about the grieving process for me, one thing that I said that I always say is grieving someone that died, they're never coming back.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know they're never coming back. But to use the word grieving, and it's the same thing. You're grieving someone that died, but now in divorce, you're grieving the relationship that died. Because literally, what is a marriage? It's two becoming one,
Yeah.
right? It's two
Yeah.
becoming one. And so now those two people have to rip apart from each other.
Yeah.
And so for me, it felt like, so one arm is outstretched,
Yeah.
right? To the right. You have your other arm outstretched to the left. And then you have those arms that are going opposite directions, and they're tied to a car on Fast and Furious. And those two cars go opposite ways really, really fast.
Yeah.
And you rip apart. And when you rip apart that body, it's ripping this way. So it's not
Mhm.
going straight up and down. It's
That's
ripping
good.
any kind of way that is going to get away from each other, because that's
Yeah.
the purpose. And
Yep.
so that's what divorce is.
That's
Divorce
so good.
is ripping apart that unity that was supposed to be one, and it's
Yeah.
being ripped apart in any kind of way. There are any casualties that come. And
Yeah.
so during that process, I'm like, oh man, I could see him in Kroger's on aisle 4.
Yeah.
And so when
Yeah.
you realize I'm grieving, but I'm grieving someone that's living that I could see in Kroger's in the produce aisle,
Yep.
how am I going to deal with that?
Yep.
So the grieving process is the same as losing someone that has died, but you have to realize they're not dead. The
Yeah.
relationship is dead.
That's so
Listen.
dope that you said that. Look, you
Woo!
preach, because that it's not a clean cut. I've
No.
never heard it explained like that, but that is the most brilliant description of divorce
Listen.
that I've ever heard in my life. Like, it's
God
not a
gave me
clean
that.
cut. It's
No.
not just okay, straight down the middle, a tear apart. Like, oh no,
Mhm.
it's just it's reckless abandon. And yeah, there's been a death, but it's not a person.
Man,
It's
I'm
your
telling
dream.
you.
It's where I feel like what makes it so traumatic is, for many people, at least for me, it's where my childhood idealism met my adult reality. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I
And it
do.
was like, ooh,
Yeah.
wow. I saw, it's like you've been wearing blinders,
Mm.
and then someone snatches your blinders off and you see what things really look like.
Yeah.
And you're horrified.
Right. No, and that's so perfect to say. For me, I grew up in a household with my dad and my stepmom. And I knew growing up, I never wanted my marriage to be like theirs.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that, because there are many that know my family, but the reason why I say that is there was still something missing that I wanted for myself. So their marriage didn't add up to what I wanted for me. And so the Cosbys was the marriage that I liked, and they were the family that I liked. And so I would look up to them, them dancing together, when it be late at night and the kids, are in the bed, and Cliff would throw on some music and they be dancing and they,
Yeah.
and I wanted that. He adored his wife. Now, did
Yeah.
I know that the show was fairy tale? Yes, I knew that. But
Yeah.
I said, if someone can think about this and write about this to the degree and people act it out, it has to be true somewhere.
Yeah.
And so I desired to have that type of relationship. And so then, as a woman, I failed.
Yeah.
Because the woman brings the compassion and the love and the happiness. We are the heartbeat of the home.
Man.
And so for that not to work is like I failed as a woman.
Yeah.
And that's what it was for me. And it was like, whoa, wait a minute. But then it got even extra, putting my business on blast because I don't mind. For me, it was even extra because when we separated and we were separated for 3 years. After 2 years, we had an agreement. I stayed married to him for a reason. I was helping him out and I was fine with that. You're not in my house. We're still divorced. In my eyes, we were divorced according to us, just not according to the United States of America. Okay?
Right.
There is a difference.
A whole nother
It's
conversation.
a whole nother conversation. So, but according to USA, we were still married. And so it's like, I agreed to stay married to him. And then after 2 years, I was like, okay, that's enough. Listen, I for real want to be done with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Never want to have to deal with you again. And so I filed and we went through a year process. Now, we separated for 2 years. The day he moved out, he took everything he wanted out the house. I was praying that he would take the whole entire house. Like, I didn't care. I will lay on the floor just to be rid of you. Okay?
Listen, I did that.
Listen,
Exactly
I wanted
that.
it. I wanted it. And so it was like, I really don't care. Just go. Take I will help you pack it. Okay?
Yeah.
Just go. And so 2 years separated, nothing keeping us, no children together. So nothing keeping us. I go and file for divorce. I file. I spend my money to file. Okay.
Yeah.
All you had to do was just say, yo, peace. Right?
Yeah.
That's all. But no. We come with extra things. And he brings about and wants to now battle. And so he asks for spousal support. He asked for me to pay for things that, he had to pay for. He had to pay for furniture to live with his girlfriend. I'll say it. So all these things he wanted me to pay. And I was like, wait a minute. Normally 1 + 1 = 2. Normally.
Yep.
But
Normally.
it's not. Somehow there's a number missing. I'm really not understanding this. And so everyone always wants to talk about how the women do men so wrong when it comes to the separation. But y'all, I got done wrong.
Man.
It was nobody but God. It was me pleading with God.
Yeah.
Me pleading with God for him to not get spousal support. It was nobody but God for me to be honored. And you can look at the situation. Oh, no, they would never fight. Yes, they would favor him because I was the breadwinner. I was the one that made the money.
Yeah.
And, so when he came I cried and I cried and I cried like, wow. So for me, it was, this was a nail in the coffin for me to never go back to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ever had hopes and dreams of us getting back together, you just made it where I won't. Because it showed all over again, you can't love me.
You couldn't possibly.
Love me.
Yeah.
How could you ever love me when you know that I'm a single parent and you want to take food and money and resources and supplies out of my single home for you, and you don't even have your children. He didn't even have custody of his children. And so you wanted to take money, over $400 a month, out of my child's pocket. That's how I read that, and you know how much I love my baby girl. So you wanted to take over $400 a month plus pay your attorney fees. I didn't even have an attorney. You wanted me to pay your attorney fees, pay for your furniture that's in your place. Although I offered for you to have the furniture. Pay. You went to school after we separated. You went to school finally and got your CDL, but you wanted me to pay for that. You went to the doctor, wanted me to pay for that. I'm sorry, what? So it was a straight Mary J. Blige situation. So for those that know, Mary J. Blige got divorced and he came after her money. I mean, the situation is crazy. Please Google it because my God, y'all will love her and send her a cash app if you knew the situation. And so literally what's crazy about that is when she announced that she was going through her divorce was when we separated. And so I'm already hearing this, not knowing down the line, I'm about to go through this. And I just thank God, literally, I'm at heaven's door, begging and pleading with God, God, please don't let him win. And my attorney, I did a consultation. I couldn't even afford an attorney, but I did a consultation, and she was like, yeah, unfortunately, he could get all of this. And I was like, what? And I just sat in her office and I was like, listen, I do not want you to call the police because I don't really figuratively mean this, but I want to punch you in your eye right now for even saying this. I was like, are you serious? I was only married 3 years. She was like, yeah. She said, well, I don't really want to hurt you, but I was married 3 years and I got spousal support. And I'm like, what? Oh my God. Listen.
That touches me deeply. And first of all, I'm glad that you came out of that. You know what I mean? And it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Right.
But that when you just told that story, that's you and I have known each other for a while. I didn't know that part.
Mm-hmm.
But I can relate to it and my heart goes out to you. And the women that are dealing with that and the men that are dealing with that, I realize that it is not
if you're not in the situation and you're thinking about marriage, if you're with someone right now and you're thinking about marriage, I definitely, I didn't do premarital counseling. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I suggest premarital counseling now, but I suggest you get counseling for yourself as well.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So if you're with someone and you guys are talking about marriage, I suggest premarital counseling now. Everybody may not like this, but I don't agree that the only counseling you should do is with your pastor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
I concur. I stamp that wholeheartedly.
Listen, because unfortunately, there's still a man, right? That your pastor, whether it's a man or a woman, they're still human. Let me put it that way. They're still a human. And there could be some bias there. Now, and I'm not talking about all, but I am talking about all because it's human nature, okay? Yeah. This is why I say that. It's human nature. And I'm not dogging pastors or anything. Please believe that.
Of course.
But I'm saying you really want to get counseling from someone in this particular manner, from someone that doesn't know you.
Yeah.
Because you can hear their advice. You can hear what they're really saying, and neither one of you will feel, oh, they're just taking your side.
Yeah.
Because they know you. You've been going to the church longer than I have. Don't let any of that come in. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like if you go to someone that neither of you know, it could be a better outcome. And if whatever they tell you, work on it. Believe them. Let it hit your spirit, but work on it if that is your desire. The crazy part is, I do have a desire to be married again, but it'll be different.
Yeah.
And think about this for those that are thinking about marriage. It took 15 minutes to go downtown and for us to get our marriage license. I think it was $50, $50 or $60 to get a marriage license. We went down there. We happy.
Yeah.
3 months, you know, for this is valid for 3 months. You must get married within 90 days of today. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we were at 89. I mean, and we had it planned out and everything, but I'm saying I think we were at day 89. So 15 minutes to walk down there, $50. We hand in hand together. You got to go together, and you know we say we want to be together forever.
Yeah.
But to divorce him, to get rid of him forever, it took a year. And not only did it take a year, I made the decision and he made the decision to go downtown together and say say that we want to spend the rest of our lives together. But to get a divorce, someone else has to have the power to tell you that you can be away from this person.
Yeah.
They have to tell you, well, you know, like as in our case, I had one vehicle that I paid for, that I bought for him, even though I put it in his name. It was his. We had to have the courts decide what would happen with this vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it was, well, you got to sell the vehicle. Now neither one of you get it. And you split the, you know, the cost or the profit that you get from the car. Okay. And like I said, thank God I didn't have to pay spousal support and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But when we separated from each other, when he moved out the house, that should have been it. But no, someone else had to decide. Well, you can be separated. You can decide to, you know, what has to be paid and all this stuff. My point is, I had to pay $300 to get a divorce from him. He, because of the way he chose, he then had to pay $1,500 for an attorney. But it took $50 for us to get married.
Right.
$50.
Right.
And we made the decision to be married. But someone else has to make that decision for you not to be together. So when we went to court, it still took another 6 months.
Yep.
For the judge to decide, okay, here's what I decided on you guys to be separated, for you guys to be divorced. It took someone else, that power is in someone else's hand.
Someone who may or may not be righteous or moral or have anyone's best interest at heart.
Right. And I mean, they're biased, right? They're biased. And that's great. But I had to plead my case. He had to plead his case. And thank God, you know, I spoke to God and asked him, like, God, please, look, he's lying. I had to sit there for an hour in court. No, I'm sorry. We were there for 3 hours in court. 3 hours. I had to sit there and listen to him lie about me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Judge, at this point, I was in tears.
Yep.
Judge, all I got is, ma'am, do you have any last words to say? Judge, only thing I can say is I'm sitting here listening to lies and I'm crying. Ma'am, I just want this over with because I can't bear not another minute.
Man.
And now we're at 3 years. 3 years of being separated. So it's not a small thing. You know, I tell people, you know, look at what you want to, look at this decision. It's not small.
Yeah.
It's not a small decision. And the reason why it's not small is because other people are involved. Meaning to not be together, someone else has to make that decision.
Yeah.
So it's not just yours.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it's not small.
I had a 2-year separation and before the divorce, and then I had a 10-day divorce trial spread out over 3 months, 3.5 months. And so it was easy to get into.
Right.
It's really hard to get out. And
Yeah. For a lifetime decision, you know, and that's what it should be, you know, and I get that, you know, but it wasn't. And the result is someone else has to make that decision for you. So, all right, we got a little deep there, and I'm really hoping that people listened to what we said, because I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter about divorce, and Anthony is not bitter about divorce at all. It's not that. It's literally, okay, well, how do you get better? Right?
Yeah.
What decisions are we making now to be better so that, of course, that doesn't happen again? But even on top of that, we both have a desire to help others, that may be on this path. And once again, neither one of us are bitter. I'm not telling you don't get divorced. I'm saying think about it for real. Really think about it. And so that leads me to our next question. Listen, we kind of touched on this a little bit. So, who is the wedding for? There was a situation, and you know, if you cannot agree on the type of wedding you want.
Yeah.
Now there could be minor things. Oh, I like blue flowers. Oh, you like red flowers. Now, if you're just really adamant, have both. Come on, now. Just have both, right?
Right.
But problem solved. But when it comes to, let's say, for instance, you're marrying someone that, and I'll give the scenario that I was told.
Okay.
The man had saved $30,000 for a home. He knew that this money, hey, I'm going to be married one day, and I need to put money aside for my wife and I to have a home. That was his desire. He does that, and his now fiance knows that money is set aside, and she knows what that money is for. But her desire is to have a huge wedding. And she says, I don't want the house. I want that money for the wedding. Now, the question was posed, do I decide, should he still get married? Now, my response was run. Okay? Because that's not minor. That's not flowers. Okay? That is a huge decision. This man has saved $30,000, and in his mind is focused on his heart's, let's not even go there, his heart's desire.
Yeah.
There's a difference. So his heart's desire is to provide a home for his wife.
Man.
And you know that. The woman knows that. And you say, kapatui. So what about your heart's desire? I want a huge wedding to celebrate with other people and pay for them to sit and look and ooh and ah over me. Okay, that's what that is, right? So who is the wedding for?
You know what? First of all, let's speak to that situation. Number one, and then I promise to answer your question. I'll try not to be as long-winded. That situation right there, you gave that man gold. Like he absolutely should run. Okay, here's the way I look at it. The thing is never the thing, right? Like, so this seems on the surface to be about this man saved $30,000 or, however much, $30,000, and he wants to put that toward a house. He loves this woman. Mm-hmm. This woman has a dream of having a grandiose wedding, right? Mm-hmm. Where she can be beautiful. And it's what comes with that.
Yes.
Like, okay, the man does some work, and I would imagine that you have to sacrifice a little bit. You got to go without eating some of the things you want. You have to say no to some things in order to save $30,000. Right? Because if it was easy to do, then everyone would just have $30,000.
Right.
So
no, you're right.
So he put himself out there and sacrificed and put some work and some elbow grease toward a goal.
Yes.
He loves this woman. That's his queen. So I'm assuming, of course, this is the woman you want to spend the rest of your life with. Then you want to give her the world.
Right.
She says, yeah, later for your dream altogether. Later for what you want. Not meet me halfway. Not, hey, would it be okay if we take like 5,000 of that or whatever, some sort of portion of that?
Right.
I know you worked hard. I want to acknowledge your commitment and sacrifice. I want to honor what you did. And if you say no, cool, because this is what you did, and I'm proud of you for even doing that. Maybe I got to come up with some way to sacrifice to get what I want. But it wasn't none of that. It was give me what you've worked. I want something for nothing, basically.
Right, basically.
I want your hard work for my glory.
Yep. And
And
and I will, I'm sorry, I will say this.
Go ahead. Jump in.
When it comes to things like that, it is selfish because you are not thinking about the sacrifice. Just as you said, I could think about, wow, okay, do I have 30,000?
Right.
No.
Right.
And it's like, man, so yeah, wow, I should really look at, I mean, you obviously already know that he kind of has this discipline.
Yeah.
You should have figured that out by now.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and if you haven't acknowledged it, like I said, run, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, because that man needs to be with somebody that's going to value what he values. He values a home for his family.
Yeah.
And so she's not valuing the same thing. She wants something today.
Yeah.
That's going to be today. And pictures are great, right? They're memories and all that kind of stuff. You had a photo album. You can talk about it. You can think about it. You can live the day, all that kind of stuff. But it could burn up. Just as the house could. But I'm just saying, like, it's more of a material thing, and he's giving something that could have a lasting moment, lasting memories, many memories, not just one day memory, And so when I think about that, I'm like, okay, if it was something smaller, as I stated, the flowers.
Yeah.
Right? If it's something small like that, like he's very adamant, like, I'm not a this glamorous person. Okay. So I definitely would have been like, yo, let's get the house and we can go, under the stars, under the sky and say I do. Like, I'm just a simple girl like that. I don't care about everybody watching me, but that's my opinion. That's only from the book of Danielle, okay, y'all? From the book of Danielle, okay? Danielle does not care.
You said something, and I think that leads into the question that you were asking, like that scenario right there. For me, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a big wedding. I had one, right? So, but
there's nothing wrong with it.
I think the older me, the one that's had the big wedding and then been divorced, after that, I think my understanding of the wedding now is that the wedding, for all intents and purposes, should be a celebration of the love that it's representing.
Correct.
And so you can go all out, but the prize should be the love that the two of you share.
Now.
Right?
Yes.
And so that's the prize.
Right.
If you could have a party and, and it's a house party and celebrate the love.
Exactly.
So that I think there's some hard questions that have to be asked. I think the wedding is really for everyone else, because at the end of the day, if you didn't throw a party to celebrate the love that you two share, or the two becoming one, the two still became one, and you still have the love that you have.
Yep. Exactly.
So I think the wedding is for witnesses. It's for the couple, of course.
Right.
But I think it's really more so for everyone else to come and have a public place to give affirmation to the love that they should see between the two of you.
Right.
And with that in mind, I don't think that it's, if you can do it, if you can have a all expenses, like a blowout wedding, that where it's a physical demonstration of the intangible love that you have, that's great. Do it. But I don't think it should be a necessity, like whereby you want to take the savings account and blow the whole savings on it. Because it's like, what does this wedding mean to you? I think that'd be a great question for him to ask. So what does it mean to you? Like, what does the wedding mean to you? And where do you get that from? Like, is this just your time to shine and you want to do it big because it's like, I'm not the prize, or our union isn't the prize?
Listen.
It's because we see a lot of that, right?
Right,
like,
right.
People want to do it for the gram. Like, you want to stunt and you want to show, look how we doing it. But that's the prize. Me personally, I mean, if you can have both, have both. But me personally, the prize is, man, I found the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel the same way about me.
Exactly.
That's enough.
Exactly. Listen, and if it is something now let me throw a little something extra in there. Okay. So, ladies, now honestly, you could have pillow talk with your man. And in this scenario, okay, and pillow talk doesn't not always mean sex, okay? But pillow talk is literally talking. Pillow talk means talking at an intimate time, meaning it's just you and him.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pillow talk. Just you and I, no phones, no children, no outsiders, friends, and all that kind of stuff. It's our time, just you and I, to talk. Okay, so that's what pillow talk is. So you could have pillow talk with your man in this particular scenario, and if she could boost him to get another 30,000, because we don't know how long it took him to get this 30,000, right?
Thanks.
So let's say, for instance, it only took him a year. Now that is a long time. A long time. But I'm saying, let's say you say to him, I will compromise, and I'll say it's 2020. We can plan our wedding for 2022, and baby, I'm gonna help you build another 30,000.
Yeah.
For my wedding. I know you can do it. Baby, you did what? You did this in a year, baby. With me behind you, we're going to do it in 8 months.
Yeah.
Now, that is a way to get your way, ladies. Meaning, you're boosting him, and you don't know. That 30,000 could turn into 90,000 instead of it turning into 60,000. Because if we don't know, like, our real place and our rightful place and what we're really here for, one of them, okay? One of them is to boost our men. And if we do that the right way, man, where we could be. Where we could be. Listen, you could get whatever you want. You talk to him the right way and at the right times. Yeah. That's one thing I ain't never had a problem with. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you, I'm gonna boost you, I'm gonna all that, and it doesn't always have to be sexual. Like, people think, I can get, or women think I can get whatever I want, because nah, boo, that's cool. That's a cherry on the top, right? It is.
Yeah. It matters.
But it matters, right? It matters. Listen, it matters, all right? Yeah. But it doesn't have to be the only thing. That pillow talk is everything. That's the time when I call, the man must come home to retreat.
Yeah.
He goes out into the world and he is hit with daggers and daggers and daggers. Listen, that's another topic for another show. Listen, but he is hit with daggers and daggers and daggers out in the world. At work, he's going through stuff. He might have got pulled over today. And when it's today's society, listen, we praying we make it home every day. He got cut off in traffic, or he was in traffic forever, but there are so many daggers that he deals with. So when he comes home, that's where he's supposed to come home and retreat, have his wounds mended and put together so that he can go out into the world again on tomorrow.
Man.
And so when he comes home to retreat, the way to help and get what you want, have that pillow talk. But give him a moment first when he come home, ladies. Give him a moment, because he had to deal with all them daggers in the world. And so when he comes home, it's let it be peaceful. Hi, honey, how was your day? Give him a beer or whatever the choice may be that he has. Give him a moment to get that day off of him, because it's a lot. It's a lot for him to be a man and then be a man at home and take care of his family. And so, the way we get what we want is to allow for that to happen. Allow for him to think for a moment. Allow for him to breathe for a moment. And then we can get whatever we want. All right? So if you want that 30,000 and he's only got 30, help him to build another.
Right.
And then he ain't going to have no problem with it. He ain't going to have no problem with you being that queen and princess, whatever it is that you choose to be on that day. He will have not one problem with it. Why? Because you helped to build something else. You helped to build something extra. That's what we're here for. That is what we are here for. So that's another topic for another show.
It really is. And real quick, like, let me say too, because I know that because of the culture and the climate that we live in, I can imagine some ladies hearing you break that down like that, which you gave them the cheat code for, like, that's the game. But for the fellas that might be watching too, you have to engage. Like, she's not an object. She's not, supposed to be under your feet. She's supposed to be by your side, and you're supposed to engage. You have to find out what makes her tick. You got to pay attention. You got to look, pay attention when you get to the crib. Don't just start demanding and asking stuff. This is what reciprocity looks like, right? Look at your woman. Is she tired? Maybe she gets in after you. Maybe you can have some dinner. Maybe you got that. Babe, you don't have to do that tonight. I took care of it. Hey, the dishes is done. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got the babies. Go take a minute. Go read. Go do what you want to do. Like, I got it. Take a little minute. Hey, you need your feet rubbed. Like, what's happening? Tell me about it. How was your day?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me rub your back. Like, get in on that. And you want to build the relationship. So, yeah, it definitely goes both ways. But I just didn't want people to see it, or the ladies to see it and think that us men, that there's those of us out here and we understand and we're looking to give. We're not looking to just take. But Danielle gave you the game, though. And so I'm trying to give you the game. Like,
listen,
you engage too, man. There's nothing more beautiful than two people trying to outdo one another in love.
Yes, in love.
That's it.
For each other. Come on now. Listen, all day long. And one thing I definitely agree with is the 5 love languages. It's so important. So while you're dating, find out what their love language is, because your love language may not be their love language. If you like to receive gifts and that's your thing, and there's nothing wrong with, there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to receive gifts all the time, right? But if that's your thing, that doesn't mean that that's their thing. So if you're giving them gifts all the time, they could feel as if you're trying to pay them off.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, that's not my love language. My love language is quality time. Because time is everything to me. I don't have it all, always. So when you spend quality time with me, no phones, only if the children call, you got your emergencies. That's amazing to me. That was everything. That was a $20,000 ring. Okay. Yeah. But that's me. And so understanding what your mate's love language is, you have to talk to them in that way. And look that up. So the 5 love languages, there's books out there. It's online. Take the quiz together. There's a quiz you can take to find out what your love language is. And there's one you can take for yourself, one you take with your children, one you take with your mate. And it's amazing. I know I just promoted somebody else, but listen, I will promote them because it helped me.
Yeah.
It helped me. And so now I understand what type of guy I need to be with. Oh, okay. Well, I can't be with somebody that wants to shower me with gifts because it's not how I talk. And then when I tell you I don't talk that way, and then you don't do anything to fix it, then we can't be together. And it's being honest, because I won't be happy. I'm not going to be happy with 10 million bags. That's not my thing. Yeah. Thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
No thanks, And so you've wasted money. Why? Go do it with somebody that loves it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, so that's definitely important. Definitely important. So, listen, I know somebody got something out of this. I don't even say, I hope you got something out. No, I know someone got something out of this, okay? Because I did. I got something out of it.
I did
and
too.
I am so honored once again that you came on. I know this will not be the only time that you will be joining me because you're so amazing. And I'm just honored. I know that you have a book out, so I want you to just tell the people how can they get in touch with you, because you gave some wisdom. I know somebody gonna be hitting you up, and not for dates, y'all. Don't play, okay? Listen, but if you do, make sure you come right, okay? Because he ain't playing. Make sure all that stuff he said, make sure you can provide that and want to provide it, all right? Don't play out here. But tell us about your book, because I think it's amazing I'm gonna have to get you on again, and we're gonna talk about your book because you definitely dropped some nuggets and some knowledge. So tell me about your book and how we can get in touch with you. So I have your book right here.
Hey, that's my book right there. It's called Stereotypes of the Black Male. I'm a partner with other amazing brothers and a Black woman by the name of Dr. Sajay Price. And we just put together this. We wanted to give Black men an opportunity to speak for themselves, to just share what was on their heart and tell their story. My book is available at Barnes & Noble. Again, my name is Anthony Hendrix. The quickest way is to just follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Priest4Corners. That's Priest, the number 4 corners. And the link to the book is right there in the bio. You can click it. We'll make it easy on everybody.
Yes. All right. So I'm so excited that you joined. Thank you so much for coming on with Amazing with Danielle D. Smith. You gave some amazing advice and informed our people on basically relationships, and not just relationships, but more specifically, how to deal with divorce. And I love that you gave it, and you gave it raw, and I thank you and I appreciate you. So you guys, please make sure that you follow Anthony. Once again, that's Priest, the number 4 corners. Yes, please follow him. Not only does he have a book, but he does have new music out as well. So please get his music. He is a rapper. I want to say it like that. Like, he's an artist, he's a lyricist, he's a rapper. Y'all know I think I'm something like a rapper, but I'm not. All right, I stay in my lane. But I be having emotions and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna keep working on it. I've asked him like 5 times to put me on the song, y'all. He ain't done it yet. What is the problem? I got the emotions, like, okay. Anyways.
Your rapper hands are pristine.
You go what?
Your rapper hands are pristine. You got it?
Yeah, so why ain't I on a song yet? But we're going to talk about that later, okay? We ain't going to bore the people. But the main thing is, please follow him. As I stated, get his music. It is definitely hot. They playing it on the radio. Like, come on, don't play. And then please get his book. I'm telling you guys, man, woman, you will enjoy it. I enjoyed it as a woman because it is listening to the man, how they feel. It was from their heart, y'all. I definitely can say that. It was amazing. So please get it. I did just read his section, and then I started reading the other sections. I can't even lie because that's my boy, right? I had to support.
For sure.
But please get his book. You will not be disappointed. It's a good, quick read. It's not really thick or anything, but it has so much knowledge in it. All right. So please support him. Once again, Anthony, I just want to thank you for joining Amazing with Danielle D. Smith. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, definitely. So check us out. The next episode will be coming up soon. Definitely excited about some other things that we have coming up. I know Anthony will be on with us again, and he will be dropping more knowledge. But just continue to listen to Amazing with Danielle D. Smith. Peace.
It's Amazing with Danielle D. Smith.